Feeling bitter is the likely consequence of feeling invalidated and unappreciated in one too many situations and relationships. Emotional bitterness refers to feelings of sadness, resentment, and anger, especially anger that accumulate over time. It is a secondary emotion outside of sadness, happiness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust that can result from insult or injury. Feeling bitter involves mixed emotions, and it can be hard to identify and express in simple terms. Becoming emotionally bitter is much like the progression of a child's physical growth. Parents don't notice how much the child gains in height each day, but there comes a time when they suddenly see how much their son or daughter has changed. Becoming emotionally bitter happens similarly, but follows an escalating pattern until a difference is noticeable. Alright, so how do you know if you have become bitter? First, consider how frequently you get irritated or bothered by little things. When a person becomes bitter, the most obvious effect is on their mood. Specifically, the bitter person's baseline mood is often angry, disappointed, or irritable. The feelings don't seem to have a clear root and are difficult to let go. A simple way to measure this is to think about the past several days and ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how content and positive you felt on average each day. If you're being honest, and your average numbers are low, that's a sign you may be feeling bitter. An additional way to measure your bitterness is less obvious. Think about the past several days and ask yourself if you engaged in any of the following actions: sent an angry or frustrated email, or left a similar voicemail; had a verbal conflict in your personal or professional life; had a negative emotional reaction to a stranger you encountered while driving or running errands; snapped at anyone in response to something they said or asked. If you engaged in any of these behaviors in the past few days, and also have a habit of doing any of these things regularly, you may be in a bitter spiral that requires attention. A second important gauge of bitterness: you feel that others don't fully understand you or appreciate what you do. As a rule, the quality of all relationships suffers when a person has become bitter. While relationships are intended to be sources of support, encouragement, and openness, the bitter person comes to feel that relationships are frustrating and unsatisfying. Bitter individuals have lost faith and trust in others close to them, telling themselves that relationships are not worth the hassle because no one ultimately cares enough about them. A simple way to assess whether you have grown bitter is to ask yourself the following questions based again on a 1 to 10 scale. How appreciated by my romantic partner do I feel? How appreciated by my family and friends do I feel? If single, how appreciated by my last romantic partner did I feel? How much do those around me understand and validate my feelings, especially my frustration or anger, when I share them? These questions and the resulting data are important because they point to clear areas to focus on. A third sign: you've come to believe that you may never feel truly happy. When you consider unhappiness, you may first associate it with depression. Depression includes feeling unhappy, but often individuals who feel unhappy feel more angry or bitter than depressed. Bitterness is not only a mix of emotions, but also an accumulation of disappointments across a lifetime. It would be difficult for anyone to be positive and hopeful if they have experienced situations and relationships that leave them feeling misunderstood, overlooked, uncared for, or even erased. When a person becomes bitter, there's often a sense of betrayal about how life has treated them. A victim mindset can take hold. We have the feelings we have for a reason, and bitter individuals are no exception. Becoming bitter is the likely consequence of feeling invalidated and unappreciated in one too many situations and relationships. The problem snowballs when the hurt, bitter person gives in and gives up. Instead, taking action can make the difference between an isolated life and a connected one. The tendency to overthink and feel emotions too acutely is part and parcel of bitterness. The next time you engage in either practice, shift to productive activity. Increase your sense of connection by calling a friend or talking more with a loved one than you normally would. Ask how they have been doing lately. Be curious. Take inventory of your self-care practices that are peaceful. and reflective, including outdoor walking and meditation. The process of becoming a bitter person is sneaky and slow, making it difficult to detect while it's happening. Ask simple questions to identify the difference between an occasional bad mood and a more severe pattern. Emotional bitterness doesn't have to be permanent. A new approach to life and taking action can increase hope. We'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. As always, my friends, we thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.